Welcome to Why It's Straight Television. I'm your host, Matthew Salanoa, a filmmaker of over 17 years, here to bring you the filmmaker's perspective on television. Aloha, movie nerds, dorks, and weirdos. Forgive me for the sound, I'm having a little trouble with my mic and light today, so it's a little dim, and again, it's still in the triple digits in SoCal, so I got my fans going. But welcome to Why It's Great Television. I'm your host, Matthew Salanoa, here to watch movies and TV from the filmmaker's perspective. Today is a very special episode because I've just seen the first episode of Chief of War, written and starring Jason Momoa, Aquaman. This was an awesome pilot. I've seen. Right now, I don't have Apple Plus, but hopefully soon I am starting a new job. Hopefully soon I'll have Apple Plus and be able to watch the rest of the season. But this first episode was incredible. Those who don't know, Chief of War is about Jason Momoa, who plays a chief of war. But the first episode, he's essentially an outcast living in a very peaceful part of Hawaii. It turns out he is a chief of war who has abandoned his king because of disagreements with why he went to war for that same king. But now he's being called back because a new threat is approaching his original kingdom, Maui. It's incredible. Let me start off with a little bit of background here, okay? I am Hawaiian. I obviously am a mixed person, right? But my grandparents were from Hawaii on my father's side. The entire family I grew up with, we didn't see my mother's side of the family as much. We mostly spent our time with my father's family. But we are what you would call mainland Hawaiians. So we're basically just Americans. Like, our perception of the world is the American perception of the world. Team America, America. You know, even growing up in the Bay Area, California, all that. But we did visit Hawaii, or I visited Hawaii just once when I was a teenager after my grandfather died. And it was my first experience seeing the whole Hawaiian family. Seeing Hawaii is, I think, my first, or it was like my second airplane ride ever. And it was so beautiful and amazing. And here's here's where this story connects with the show. My Uncle Joe is in Chief of War. When I was in Hawaii, I met my Uncle Joe. He was very sweet, very awesome. So much of my family, very sweet and friendly. One of the things about Uncle Joe is, like, you could tell, you know, he was a very artistic person in nature. He even sang a few times, but one particular time was when the whole family gathered and he sang the song for Hawaii. It was so incredible. So, not that it's no surprise, it's still a surprise, but it is awesome to see him in the show on the first episode as the first messenger of the king who speaks to Jason Momoa. I'm like, that's my uncle. So Jason Momoa, if you happen upon this video, thank you for putting my uncle in your movie, in your show. I mean, it looks like a movie, but thank you for putting him in your show. And, you know, I hope you got to hear him sing. And I hope he gets to sing in the show, because I haven't seen the rest of the show yet, obviously. But, you know, his singing is something that should be on film and television, let me just say. But yeah, so it was just a real treat. My family had posted it on Facebook already, but I just hadn't watched it yet. But when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, I was like, I'm not going to be surprised. I know what he looks like. Oh wait, no, that's him. There he is. So, you know, as a mixed person, as a Merkin, you know, I never really, it's not that I didn't care about representation, but, you know, I grew up mostly in Latin schools. And even though as dark as my father is, my family never really stressed or worried about, like, race or culture or any of this stuff. That we're the old school hippie San Francisco attitude. It's a, you are who you are, and that's fine. Whatever you are, whoever you are, and that's that. But I always kind of took, you know, if there was a Latin actor or a black actor I really liked, I took that as my representation, since I never really saw Hawaiian representation. like I said, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I always, when I decided I wanted to be a filmmaker, I thought, well, so what if there's no one else before me? I will be the Hawaiian Samoan director for myself and let others know, hey, you can do this too. But hey, Jason Momoa got way ahead of me on that one. But good, you know. So I didn't even know Jason Momoa was Hawaiian until the Aquaman movies came out. I knew he was a big deal because of Game of Thrones. I didn't catch Game of Thrones until, just a few years ago. And I had a good time with it, and that was fine. But he wasn't even in it that much. But yet, I could see why his character was such a big deal. Again, it wasn't really that big of a role, but yet it was a role that had carried a lot of weight for the story, and he was great, obviously. Watching the show, it's the first episode starts off with Jason Momoa and his family hunting a shark. You know what I mean? That's good storytelling. It just tells you exactly how fearless this person is, that he's willing to hunt a shark. He's willing to face certain death in order to get food and also turn those shark teeth into weapons. So it was an awesome, not like a crazy action sequence, but it was just epic in its smallness, like how simple it was. And lots of Jason Momoa butt. I was like, am I watching the Indian in the cupboard here? Everyone else has got flaps, but he's showing his butt. But I just thought it was funny. This was an experience. This whole first episode is this beautiful journey of he's the disgruntled hero. He was a great warrior. He left his kingdom because he didn't like how his skills were being used, and he's been called back for this epic mission, in service of the prophecy. There's this great prophecy of a moment when the king who will rise and unite all the kingdoms, which is, I don't know that much about Hawaiian history, but I do know that there was generations of warring kingdoms until one king finally united all the kingdoms. It was that king who, his wife was the last queen of Hawaii just before America took over Hawaii. But I think it's interesting. The prophecy talks about a star on a feathered flag that would be, the thing that brings everyone together, which obviously it will happen. History has shown it's going to happen. I don't know if this is a real prophecy or whatever. I don't know what if this show is based on reality or not. But it's like knowing that does happen eventually, and not only that, but then literally the American flag is a star, not feathered, but it's poetic language, right? So a star with a flag, and that's the American flag. It's many stars, but kind of knowing that so much is to come for Hawaii. It's really trippy watching the show, like 300, when you know the outcome. And that's what I liked about the show, is like I wasn't expecting there to be actual action, but then when Jason Momoa goes to see the king, and right off the bat he has to fight who is their current best warrior, Jason Momoa takes him down so good. It was such a awesome short fight, and again, just everything from the filmmaker side, everything's defining the character so well. First, that he just casually, well, not necessarily casually, he doesn't have to, he has, maybe that's just a warrior preparation thing, but the fact that he just goes up against a shark, no problem, rides it like a dolphin, and knocks it out for food. And then in his first battle that we see, the great warrior who you see knocking people away with spears, Jason Momoa just takes him down like he's nothing. And there's even a line when he's going up against that guy. It's like the guy is using blunt spears to throw at people for training, and Jason Momoa goes, "Blunt spears? You don't teach them the old way?" which just tells you, oh, the old way was with sharp spears, huh? Which again, it just tells you it says without saying what Jason Momoa went through to be the best of the best, that he would be summoned like this. And he gets summoned to the king. He gets this warning of this great war to come. Then by the end of the episode, we get an incredible battle, but something's off. And spoiler free for right now, for those of you who haven't seen it, it really leads to Jason Momoa and the king. You can tell that there's going to be problems between these two. But that battle at the end, you just see, okay, it really reminded me of 300, but like the tribal 300. So and I wouldn't even say there's a taste of Game of Thrones, and I would say not because Jason Momoa is in it, but just because that's the feeling you get about this king, that he is maybe not as concerned about the well-being of his country or his kingdom as he's saying. He may be up to other things. So, but that final battle, just to see how good Jason Momoa and his family and his crew are, it reminded me a lot of 300. It reminded me of Braveheart, except again the tribal. This isn't even sword and sandals. It's sticks and feet. You know what I mean? So just to see that, to get a taste of that, and again, as a mainland Hawaiian, which is just American, one of the crazy things about going to Hawaii and seeing my Hawaiian family was that how fearless even the children were to play on the beach and be picking up crabs the size of your hand, and go, ha ha ha, that's funny. But we're the mainland us is like, oh god, oh no 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 no, And then I had a cousin who was also into boxing and part of the military. He could just climb the tree and get the coconut, and that was just a normal thing. It was like, man, like these are real Hawaiians, And there was even that quality amongst some of the family, not everybody, but some of the family, where it's like, not that they're disrespecting us or looking down on us necessarily, but just that, oh yeah, you're a mainlander, you don't know our ways, and it's just it's interesting to see more than just representation of my family, but to actually get this whole show that's, I don't know how much of it is actually based on reality. I need to do the research, but to get this entire pilot, at least, that it makes me feel like, whoa, is this where I come from? Is this what's running through my veins? This amazing warrior culture. The blood of kings and warriors. Can I say, as a Hawaiian, that just makes me proud of my family. It makes me proud of Uncle Joe, and makes me very, I don't know, it makes me feel excited. I'm like, wow, this is where I come from, man. This is cool. So, great first episode. I'm really looking forward to, hopefully, when I start this new job, I can get Apple Plus and watch the rest of the season. Jason Momoa and team, wonderful. I'm wearing the Hawaiian lei and this beach necklace from Hawaii themed wedding from my friends recently who got married, wearing this in honor of Hawaii, in honor of Uncle Joe and Jason Momoa and the whole cast and crew. Yeah, what an incredible experience this first episode was. The action, the violence was so intense. There's a couple kills where you see Jason Momoa get his weapon around somebody's open mouth, and I'm just like, oh damn. Woo. When they come off, because the battle starts with Jason Momoa and his team on the boats coming onto land, and They start throwing spears, rain of spears, like holy shit. And there's, there's the mystical elements as well, like the prophecy and the prophetess who comes to Jason Momoa to, tell him to follow his destiny and all this. So it's really, it's a show that's got a lot going on, and it does remind me of like the old school epic movies, war movies, where people from the ancient times are so motivated by visions of the future and prophecy, and again, like 300, where the oracle plays a part in how the story unfolds, and the weight of magical words and magical thinking, and also that Game of Thrones, the quest for power, and what that means to each different person. So this was an amazing first episode. Cinematic, beautiful. I don't have any crew names for you this time. I literally just watched it, and I wanted to jump on camera and just celebrate how good this show is. At least the first episode so far. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of it. Seriously, hats off, bow, everything. Wonderful, wonderful work, everybody. Mahalo and aloha. So I know I don't even have my own accent right. So I'm a mainlander, all right? I'm from the mainland of San Francisco, California. So thank you guys, everyone who made the show, even if all you did was to deliver the coconuts. Thank you very much. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. TV show and movie nerd dorks and weirdos. Mahalo and aloha.